Starting off our list at number 10 is Ashton Kutcher and Rhianna. Let this one sink in for a minute. I'm a little weirded out. Maybe I'm just living under a rock, but I'm not sure how I missed this. Apparently they had an 8-week fling, and it all started after pictures leaked of her leaving his pad in the middle of the night back in 2012. Sources say the two of them hit it off at a friend's party in December and began having a little casual fling after that. A photographer busted Riri as she drove up to his property with her security team around midnight one night, and they caught pictures of her leaving around 4 a.m. A source told The Sun the flirting began as soon as Rhianna and Ashton met and swapped numbers. That moves on to text and arranging to meet. They snuck off to a Santa Monica hotel a few weeks ago. They are two single people having a fling, so they thought it would be best to meet in secret. I guess the hookups lasted for 8 weeks and nothing serious really came from it. It was really just a fling. At number 9 is Matthew McConaughey and Janet Jackson. This is weird. Why are all these hookups so weird and random? The two of them caused chaos in Hollywood after posing for a picture at the 2002 Grammys. Rumors started that they had a fling going on, but Matthew always denied that there was anything between them. His side of the story is, I quote, "We swapped some good music and she's a dear lady. She's a sweetheart, but we're not dating, we're just friends." But her side of the story is, I quote, "I guess we did date. He's a great guy and such a sweetheart. It was just for a minute and that's why I am so hesitant to mention it." Okay, so which one is it? I think that they had this little thing going on, but maybe it was more serious for her, like they weren't on the same page about it. What do you guys think? Either way, it's weird. I don't care what anyone says, I just cannot picture them together. Coming in at number 8 is Kim Kardashian and Nick Cannon. I feel like I should have known about this one. Like it should have made more headlines or something. Unless it did and I just didn't see them. The two of them got together after Kim's whole sex tape thing, and apparently the sex tape is what ruined their little fling. They got together back in September 2006 and called off what they had going on a few months later in January 2007. You could kinda say they were dating, like they were an item. Nick calls Kim one of the nicest people you will ever meet, but told the Howard Stern show that they ended because she lied about her sex tape. He told the story saying, "This was my issue. We talked about this tape and she told me there was no tape. If she might have been honest with me, I might have tried to hold her down, but the fact she lied and told me there was no tape, no." He even went as far as saying that he thinks Kim had something to do with the tape's release, like it was actually planned. Regardless though, Nick doesn't have anything rude to say about her or their few months together, and Kim doesn't have anything to say about it at all. Sliding into our number 7 spot is Mel B and Zac Efron. The world was shook when it was revealed that the two of them hooked up back in 2017. I am still shook, you guys. It was around the time that Mel split from her husband of 10 years. What better timing than to hook up with Zac Efron, right? According to The Sun, Mel, who was 43, then met Zac, who was 30, on an exclusive dating app where they started to exchange some flirty messages. An unnamed friend of Mel's told the British newspaper he ended up driving over to her pad, they hit it off and spent a few enjoyable hours together. It wasn't exactly a meeting of the minds, neither saw it as long term, but there was chemistry there. Mel thought Zac had an amazing body. Well, duh. Neither of them have confirmed nor denied the hookups, which is almost a confirmation in itself, I feel. Mel made an appearance on Piers Morgan's Life Stories and he asked her about the hookup rumors. She didn't say anything, and he asked, "No denial?" and Mel responded with, "But no comment." So basically, yeah, it happened. At number 6 is Jay Leno and Sharon Osbourne. She has had no problem talking about their brief fling, which happened over 40 years ago apparently. She revealed all the juicy details while speaking to Howard Stern on his Sirius XM show. Turns out that when they had their quick run together, she was 25 years old and it was before she married Ozzy Osbourne, just to put it into a timeline for you. Fling happened after she moved to the US and saw one of his stand-up comedy shows. She liked what she saw and started to flirt with him through these goofy prank calls. That's one way to flirt, I guess. Sharon explained the story saying, "One thing led to another. He came to my house and met me and then we had a little fling. The fling was more fling for me and not fling enough for him." I'm not even sure what that means. Jay told his version of the story on The Tonight Show and said, "What happened was she had seen me at the Comedy Store. I had never met her and she got my phone number and she called me every night at midnight for an hour. She was just calling me, but she didn't say who she was. She just had this British accent and she was really intelligent." Well, there you have it, ladies. Now you know what to do to get the attention of your next crush. Call them at midnight, but don't tell them who you are. Halfway through the list at number 5 is Paris Hilton and Val Kilmer. This list is just getting weird. Definitely the most random pair ever. They shocked fans after pictures surfaced of them making out back in 2006. The pictures were reported to be from 2002, during the time that Val was filming his movie Wonderland, which Paris had a cameo in. The pictures were published in an Australian magazine and show Val groping and kissing the blonde bombshell. They were pretty steamy pics, I'm not gonna lie. But their age gap was the main thing that surprised most people. Paris was 25 at the time and Val was 46. Turns out there was a big scandal tied to those photos. New Weekly reported that the images had been leaked for an upcoming auction of Hilton's belongings, which were illegally seized from a Los Angeles storage unit after she fell behind with payments. The pictures are believed to have been taken in Val's West Hollywood mansion. Another reason why it was so shocking was because just 1 year earlier he was criticizing her to the media. He said, "Paris Hilton is a great example. She's famous for nothing. It's what we are celebrating in my country, the nothingness of her fame." Well, he clearly wasn't bothered by her nothingness when he was hooking up with her. Here we are at number 4 with Carmen Electra and Simon Cowell. We saw the two of them making headlines back in 2012, but I think I can speak for the majority of us and say that we were hella confused as to what their situation was. But after a lot of speculation, Simon finally confirmed that they were dating each other, but they weren't exclusive. He went on air with Ryan Seacrest and said, I quote, "She's not my girlfriend. We're people who date." He was smitten by her though and kept talking about how adorable she is. The feeling was totally mutual though. Carmen opened up about the relationship, or whatever it was, and said, "He's so cute, he is adorable. He is actually a sweetheart. The thing is, we worked together on Britain's Got Talent. I was a guest judge and I had so much fun. I really liked him. I think he's really cool." However, things got nasty between them when she found Simon hooking up with Lauren Silverman. Like, literally found him. She walked in on them hooking up at his LA home. Awkward. Alright you guys, at number 3 is Cameron Diaz and Tyrese. It happened back in 2007 when they were spotted making out at an LA club, and on top of that, she was at an Oscar party with him, which had the media going crazy. A source reported the makeout session saying, "They made out right in front of me on the dance floor." Tyrese was 28 years old and Cameron was 34. There really isn't much else to the story other than the fact that Cameron was simply enjoying her single status after she split with Justin Timberlake. Things seemed to get hot pretty quickly between the two of them, but the fire went out just as quick. It was very short-lived. In spot number 2 is Chelsea Handler and 50 Cent. When the hookup rumors started to spread back in 2010, I thought it was all just fake news. But then Chelsea told Oprah Winfrey that he was a sweetheart and was, I quote, "so cute, but that their fling wasn't anything serious." She later decided to air out all of her dirty laundry when she went on Howard Stern's morning show and spilled all the details. And when I say all, I mean all. She straight up talked about how the sex was. Chelsea says they started talking and flirting after he appeared on her show. There was a weekend when she was traveling to Nashville and he asked if he could meet her out there. She says, I quote, "We went out, we dated, we had sex, my friends all loved him, so we dated for a couple of months." But their breakup story was the juicy part. Turns out she was having his ex-girlfriend Sierra on her show, and he called her the day before to tell her that Sierra wants to get back together with him and is upset about them dating. Chelsea tells the story saying, "So you're telling me this girl wants to get back together with you, but she's upset that you're dating me, is what you're saying?" He's like, "Yeah, so I just want you to know when she comes." Then I called him the worst thing you could say to a black person short of calling him the N-word, something along the lines of being a gangster. And it was really, really offensive, and I hung up and I've never spoken to him again. Coming from Chelsea though, that really doesn't surprise me. Taking the number 1 spot is Cher and Tom Cruise. How did this even happen? It's known as one of the most baffling romances in Hollywood history. They actually were an item back in the 1980s. She opened up about it over the years to multiple media outlets, saying that they met at Sean Penn and Madonna's 1985 wedding. Cher has noted that he was not a Scientologist during their time together and called him, I quote, "just the most adorable man you can imagine." She even went as far as saying that he remains in her top 5 list of best lovers, if you know what I mean. She said, "It was pretty hot and heavy for a little minute. When we kissed, I thought my head would shoot right off my body." Get it, Cher? The romance was brief though, and by the sounds of it, she probably wishes that it lasted longer.
At number 10, Nicole Kidman and Lenny Kravitz. I can't imagine how hard it would be to hide a relationship as a celebrity. Being a public figure like some of the stars on this list has its drawbacks because the public is always watching you at all times, so to hide your private life successfully seems like it would be a bit of a challenge. Some celebrities are able to do that pretty well, and Nicole Kidman and Lenny Kravitz are some of the best at hiding things because they were able to hide their pretty serious relationship back in the day. Nicole and Lenny seem like two people who wouldn't really run into each other, but apparently they were a lot closer than we thought. Shortly after Nicole divorced from her ex-husband Tom Cruise, Nicole was actually renting a place from Lenny Kravitz, and that's how they met. The two became pretty close and they eventually started seeing each other. Nicole later revealed that there was a time where she, Lenny, and Zoe Kravitz were, quote, all sort of living together. It wasn't until years later that the public found out just how serious Nicole and Lenny's relationship was, as Nicole once said in an interview that she was engaged to Lenny at one point. Obviously, things didn't quite work out, but the fact that they were able to hide a serious relationship, engagement, and breakup without anyone finding out is actually pretty impressive, and also explains why a lot of people had no clue about this celebrity hookup. At number 9, Zachary, Quinto, and Jonathan Groff. Raise your hand if you had no idea that Zachary Quinto and Jonathan Groff were once an item. This is another couple I had no idea about before researching this video, and I'm kind of sad that I missed out on it. Zachary and Jonathan were in a relationship for around a year or so, and they seem to have kept their love life pretty private. They didn't even go public with their breakup either, so there weren't really any juicy details as to what really happened. It's believed that work and distance is what made them grow apart and end things, but they seemingly ended things on pretty good terms with no hostility or negativity. A source close to the couple at the time confirmed the news of their split, saying, quote, Zach being far away and filming was not easy on them. They really loved each other, so it wasn't an easy split. It just ran its course. The couple went public with their relationship back in 2012 when Zachary did an interview with Out magazine about a year or so after he publicly came out as gay. Before carrying on with the list, I would like to take a moment to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also consider taking a moment to head on over to my gaming channel, Viper Girl, to check out what I've got going on over there, and maybe consider subscribing. At number 8, Drew Barrymore and Christian Bale. So it turns out that Hollywood stars Drew Barrymore and Christian Bale once had a tiny little fling of sorts, and basically no one knew about it. Back in 2012, Christian revealed in an interview with GQ Australia how he was once tied to Drew and that it did not end well. In the interview, Christian said that he once went on a date with the actress, and after their evening, she completely ghosted him. Going into detail about the ordeal, Christian said, quote, we went to see some bloody awful horror film, and that was the end of it. She never called again. To make things a little juicier, Drew was later asked about her failed date with Christian in 2015 during an appearance on Watch What Happens Live, and host Andy Cohen asked why she ghosted the actor, to which she replied saying, quote, I don't know. He was super nice. I wasn't like super boy crazy. I had a lot of fish to fry. Like I had big problems in my world for many years, like in good ways, things you gotta overcome. Boys are like very secondary. I seriously wonder what would have happened had their date been successful. Do you think they would still be together? At number 7, Macaulay Culkin and Mila Kunis. Did you know about Macaulay Culkin and Mila Kunis' nearly decade-long relationship? Because apparently not very many people were aware that these two dated. The pair dated for about 8 years, spanning from 2002 to 2011, before finally calling it quits. Mila said that she and Macaulay sort of grew up together because they got together when they were pretty young. Mila was 18 and Macaulay was 21, spending their early adulthood together. Apparently, their relationship first started out as a long-distance relationship, as Mila was working on That 70s Show in California while Macaulay was living in New York. When they broke up, there was speculation that cheating was involved, since it was rumored that the split was not amicable and took a heavy toll on Macaulay. It was alleged that Mila cheated on Macaulay with her 70s Show co-star Ashton Kutcher, but regardless of the rumors, the two remain on bad terms and are reportedly no longer friends after their messy split. Both Macaulay and Mila have moved on with other partners, so maybe now it's all water under the bridge. At number 6, Megan Fox and Robert Pattinson. In part 1 of this series, I talked about how Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox had a secret fling, but apparently Megan reportedly had another secret hookup with fellow Hollywood star Robert Pattinson. According to someone who worked with Megan on the set of the film Jennifer's Body in 2009, Megan reportedly hooked up with Robert one night. The source also claimed that, quote, Megan was totally into Rob and thought he was really cute, but nothing went further than that one night they were together. He totally blew her off. Both Megan and Robert shut down these rumors, but maybe there really was something between them one night. We may never really know for sure. At number 5, Amy Poehler and John Stamos. Back in 2014, actress and comedian Amy Poehler dished about her experience getting back into the dating pool after she separated from her husband, Will Arnett. She told Howard Stern in an interview about how things were a little confusing getting back into dating, and how she once had gone out with none other than Uncle Jesse himself, John Stamos. Amy told Howard how she and John had worked on a film together, and that at some point during the time they were working together, John had asked Amy to go to dinner. Apparently there was some confusion around that because Amy told Howard during her interview that she didn't think that her dinner with John was really a date and that she was all confused about it all. But later on, a few months later, after Amy's interview, John was asked about this date confusion and he said that the dinner was in fact a date. Basically, there was a lot of confusion and uncertainty and no doubt a little bit of awkwardness as well. At number 4, Ashley Olsen and Lance Armstrong. Here's a juicy little story about forbidden love. Well, not really, but it's a little spicy. You see, actress and fashion designer Ashley Olsen and former professional cyclist Lance Armstrong had a bit of a fling in 2007 and very few people were on board with it. They started seeing each other a few weeks after Lance broke up with fashion designer Tory Burch, and sources say that Ashley and Lance were infatuated with each other. The two were spotted on a date at the Rose Bar in the Gramercy Park Hotel, and they were seen macking on each other and then later leaving together in the early hours of the morning. Because there was a 15-year age difference, the people closest to Lance advised the cyclist to stop seeing Ashley over fears that this relationship and the large age difference would ruin his career. Ironic. Lance tried to fight for his infatuation with Ashley, but things just ended up fizzling out a couple months later. At number 3, Hilary Duff and Shia LaBeouf. During a 2011 interview, actor Shia LaBeouf revealed that he once went on a date with Lizzie McGuire star Hilary Duff, and he called it the worst date he's ever had. The actor shared some details of his horrible date with Hilary, saying that back in 2002, the pair went on a sushi date, and that the date was so incredibly bad that they never went on another one, and that he and Hilary never spoke again after that day. Shia didn't share any more details to paint a bigger picture of the day, but I can imagine that for them to never speak again, it must have been really terrible. At number 2, Kim Kardashian and Nick Lachey. Did you know that Kim Kardashian and Nick Lachey dated? Back in 2006, after splitting from his ex Jessica Simpson, Nick got his rebound game on with Kim K, who at the time was still a nobody in terms of fame. In an interview, Nick shared some details about his relationship with Kim Kardashian, where he claimed that Kim used him for fame because at this time, she was only known as Paris Hilton's assistant. During the interview, Nick said, quote, "Let's just say this. We went to a movie, no one followed us there. Somehow, mysteriously, when we left, there were 30 photographers waiting outside. There are certain ways to play this game, and some people play it well." In a way, Kim admitted that being linked to Nick worked well in terms of getting her notoriety, as she wrote in her 2010 book, Kardashian Confidential, that after dating Nick, paparazzi started calling her name when she was out. And finally, at number 1, Scarlett Johansson and Justin Timberlake. It is rumored that Scarlett Johansson and Justin Timberlake have gotten pretty close in the past and have hooked up in secret on a few occasions. Their secret relationship of sorts reportedly began after they worked together on Justin's music video for What Goes Around Comes Around, where Scarlett played Justin's love interest. Sources have also said that the pair got very close with each other back in 2011 while Justin was dating Jessica Biel. Some sources reported that after having a wild night on the town, party hopping in New York, Justin was seen headed straight for Scarlett's apartment. Now again, nothing is confirmed, but nothing's been denied either, so what do you guys think? At number 10, Rhianna and Travis Scott. Here's a celeb hookup that might surprise you because it certainly surprised me when I found out. Rhianna and Travis Scott reportedly dated back in 2015, though their relationship story is a little foggy and confusing since they never wanted anyone to find out about it in the first place. Everything was super hush-hush, so don't tell anybody I told you this. Basically, their friends with benefits / actual relationship took place about 6 years or so ago, and neither of them outright confirmed their relationship. When Travis was asked about Rhianna in an interview, he described her as being his muse and seemed to have had very passionate feelings for her, though he never chose to make these things public. He actually got incredibly upset when a magazine published details about him and Rhianna because they were told not to release those details, but they went against his wishes and they did it anyway. You'd think that with that sort of reaction, it was Travis who wanted to keep his fling on the DL, but it was actually Rhianna who wanted everything to be a secret because apparently she was embarrassed to be with him. The details as to who was the one who broke things off in the end remained a mystery, but we do know that things ended in 2016 shortly before Travis was linked to Kylie Jenner. At number 9, Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox. Looks like this celebrity fling was as juicy as it was on screen. After keeping this little hookup a secret for quite some time, Shia LaBeouf finally spilled the beans, so to speak, after revealing that he had a little romance with his Transformers co-star Megan Fox back in the day. In 2011, Shia revealed in an interview that he had a brief entanglement with the actress, saying that being on set and portraying two people in love caused their personal lives and work lives to become a little blurred. Shia was said to have been very protective of Megan while they were together, even having an outburst in a convenience store and hopping behind the counter to have a physical confrontation with an employee who was allegedly rude to Megan. To make things even juicier, this romance was apparently going on during the time that Megan and Brian Austin Green were allegedly engaged, so this was quite the entanglement. Years later, Megan said that she was in love with Shia at the time, confirming their brief fling. Before I carry on with the list, let me take a moment to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also check out my gaming channel Viper Girl if you're interested in watching some gameplay content with me. At number 8, Michael Cera and Aubrey Plaza. If you're a fan of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, then you're familiar with how the character Julie Powers isn't too fond of Scott Pilgrim. Well, it might come as a surprise to you to find out that the actors who portrayed Julie and Scott in the 2010 film are very different from their counterparts on screen, in the sense that they certainly don't hate each other, and they actually dated for some time around the release of the movie. Michael Cera and Aubrey Plaza met on the set of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and they ended up dating for about a year and a half. Things were pretty serious between them as they almost got married too. When Aubrey was a guest star on RuPaul's Drag Race back in 2016, she told Ru about her relationship with Michael, saying, quote, "We drove across the country after we shot that movie and almost got married in Vegas." Aubrey also opened up saying that she and Michael remain on good terms even though their romantic relationship didn't exactly work out. Their relationship remained pretty secret until after things were over between them, so we didn't really get to live through the Scott and Julie shipping like we would have liked to, but hey, they come and they go. At number 7, Janet Jackson and Matthew McConaughey. Alright, we've got another surprising celebrity hookup, this one including the man, the myth, the legend, Matthew McConaughey, and the amazing queen herself, Janet Jackson. Now, I had no idea that these two used to be an item, but it turns out that they were, but only for a very brief moment. These two decided to give their love a try back in the early 2000s, but they weren't compatible at all, and they only lasted about one date before pulling the plug on whatever fling was going on between them. The pair met back in February 2002 at the Grammy Awards and reportedly hit it off after that first encounter. They went on a date shortly afterwards, but as Matthew would later admit years later, things just fizzled out after that one date. They decided that they would just be friends, and that's where they left things. Both went on to have other relationships and never looked back, but it still makes for a very interesting secret celebrity hookup. At number 6, Cord Overstreet and Emma Watson. Now, there's not much information on this relationship because it was kept so private, but there's word that Cord Overstreet and Emma Watson were an item for a little while back in 2018. In early 2018, it was rumored that Cord and Emma were seeing each other, but when this news broke, their relationship was still fairly new and there wasn't much to say about it other than rumors and speculation. They were first spotted together at a concert in February of 2018, and then later at an Oscars viewing party the following month. Not long after the news of their apparent relationship broke, they were seen again holding hands, and this sort of sealed the deal for most people, though again, nothing was really confirmed. But then things seem to have just fizzled out and died as the reports came out saying that the two had broken up after 6 months of dating. Less than a month after that, they were seen together again, and there was speculation that they had gotten back together, but again, nothing was ever confirmed. Emma is known to try and keep her private life private, so that could be the reason why this relationship mostly flew under the radar, but it's still something surprising to note. At number 5, Rhianna and Ashton Kutcher. Here's the tea on this fling, so get your mugs ready. Apparently, Rhianna and Ashton had a little entanglement back in 2012 as the singer was spotted leaving the actor's house in the early hours of the morning back in March of that year. Sources suggested that the two had reportedly had a one-night stand, noting that the singer had arrived at the house around midnight that night and left around 4 a.m. This spotting of sorts confirmed some people's speculation that there was something going on between the two of them because because this wasn't the first time they were seen getting close to one another. According to one source, they had been flirting with each other, texting, and meeting up in hotels. Other sources said that at the time, they were just two single people having fun and saying, quote, both of them love having a good time and think they're too busy for anything serious just yet. There was no definite end to this fling, and since it wasn't anything serious, it doesn't really matter, but it's still interesting to find out that these two Hollywood stars were so close at one point. At number 4 is Sharon Osbourne and Jay Leno. When you picture Sharon Osbourne, you can't really see her without her other half, Ozzy, but there was once a time before Ozzy came along and you won't believe who she dated. In 2013, Sharon admitted to having a quote, flingy wingy with Jay Leno. Sharon revealed on an episode of The Talk that when she was 25, before she started seeing Ozzy, she had moved to America and was working at a place that was quote, full of men. One day she met a man who turned out to be Jay Leno, and Sharon and her friend decided to prank call him one evening. Well, this prank call ended up turning into a full-blown conversation and then a little bit more. Elaborating on the situation, Sharon said, quote, he came to my house and he met me and he had a little fling. And the fling was more a fling for me and not a fling enough for him. Because a couple months into it, he brought around his real love of his life for me to meet, and she was lovely, and they took me to Fatburger and they showed me around town. It was brief and Sharon went on to marry Ozzy anyway, but it's so fun to learn that these two celebrities had a fling. At number 3, Lea Michele and Matthew Morrison. TV and Broadway actress Lea Michele was known for having had a serious relationship with the late Corey Monteith, but it seems as though Corey wasn't the only Glee star that she was in a relationship with. In Lea's 2014 book, Brunette Ambition, she wrote about her experience on Glee, shooting the show's pilot, and revealing that before meeting the rest of the cast, she had already worked with Jenna Urshiewicz and Matthew Morrison on Broadway. And saying, quote, Matt had been a friend of mine for years, and in fact, we'd actually dated back in the day for a Broadway beat. During the filming of Glee, there were apparently some rumors saying that she and Matthew were getting a little romantic because they were so close, but she shut down those rumors saying that there was nothing romantic between them, and that they were just friends. There isn't really much information as to how long they dated and what made them end things. All we know is that it was very brief, so I guess you can just draw your own conclusions. At number 2, Johnny Depp and Jennifer Grey. All people can talk about in regards to Johnny Depp these days is his awful experience with Amber Heard and the drama surrounding that, but Amber obviously isn't the only one Johnny has been with. Johnny has also been linked to Vanessa Paradis, with whom he has 2 kids, and he was also married to Lori Ann Allison back in the 80s, and there are a number of other celebrities he's dated, but there's another star that the actor dated that not everyone knows about. Johnny Depp had a pretty serious relationship with actress Jennifer Grey back in the day. The two Hollywood stars only dated for about a year, but things were serious enough for Johnny to propose to Jennifer in 1989. They were set to get married the following year, but clearly that never happened. They really kept their relationship super secret, so there aren't many details about their fling other than the fact that it happened, but it's still something that not many people know about. I wonder what happened between them. And finally, at number 1, Tom Cruise and Cher. This next celebrity fling surprised me the most, so let me know if this one caught you by surprise as well. Back in the 80s, Tom Cruise and Cher were an item. I had no clue that they were ever together, but apparently it's true. Apparently Tom and Cher first met at Madonna and Sean Penn's wedding, and they sort of hit it off. Though there was a 16-year age gap between them, that didn't stop them from having a little fling. Cher reportedly told James Corden that Tom was one of her top 5 lovers, so clearly things were pretty good between them, right? The singer also told Oprah Winfrey that Tom could have been a quote, great big romance if they hadn't been forced to break things off due to their busy schedules. They're apparently still pretty good friends, and part of me wishes that I could have seen this romance between them because it sounds like it was something incredible. At number 8, Caroline Flack. When Harry Styles was still a rising star on the X Factor, he had his first celebrity hookup. Though it may have been fun in the beginning, it also ultimately led to Harry being in his first scandal. Again, quite early on in his career. He completely bounced back from it, but at the time, this sneaky link was big news. Back when Harry was on the X Factor, he developed a crush on the show's presenter, Caroline Flack. Caroline wrote about this little crush in her autobiography, Storm in a Sea Cup, where she revealed that Harry's crush on her was no secret, saying, quote, I already knew that he had a crush on me. He made it pretty obvious. He said it in magazines, and he said it to his friends. End quote. Ultimately, they started dating when Harry was 17 and Caroline was 31. All was well with them until suddenly things got complicated. One day, paparazzi captured images of Harry leaving Caroline's house and a scandal began. Caroline shared her thoughts on what happened next in her book, writing, quote, "It began to go wrong when Harry was pictured coming out of my house one morning. And once that was out, it was open season. After that, anyone could say anything. In the street, people started shouting at me." End quote. Things got so bad that Caroline even started receiving threats from One Direction fans, ultimately ending her relationship with Harry. At number 7, Taylor Swift. Now this next one I'm sure you were familiar with because there was so much drama going on between fan bases it was hard to miss. For a brief time between 2012 and 2013, Harry Styles and Taylor Swift were a couple. We don't really know that much about their relationship because it was kept so private, but there are images captured by paparazzi that confirm that they were together. The most information we have about their time together came after their breakup though, because this is where the drama began, but in song form of course. It is believed that there is somewhere between 4 and 6 songs about this relationship released by both Harry and Taylor. Many fans believe that the songs Style, Out of the Woods, I Knew You Were Trouble, and I Wish You Would, all by Taylor Swift, are about Harry in some way or another. Fans think that the release of these songs is what prompted Harry to release a few songs of his own about Taylor. It is thought that the songs Perfect and Two Ghosts are about Taylor Swift. Though not much is known about their time together, fans did get a handful of bangers out of this little entanglement. Before we carry on talking about the juicy hookups that Harry Styles had, why not take a moment to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like this one. At number 6, Nicole Scherzinger. Now this next hookup doesn't have much information to it, but it's pretty juicy, and it's one celebrity hookup that I never knew about, so I had to include it on this list. Back in 2013, the Sun publication reported that Harry Styles had allegedly hooked up with Pussycat Dolls singer Nicole Scherzinger. Nicole was a judge on the X Factor back when Harry was on the show back in 2010, and so that's where people think things started between the two. When this alleged hookup happened, Harry was 19 while Nicole was 35. Fans thought that this age gap between the two performers was a little strange, while others didn't really see much issue with it since they were both adults. What's your take on this age gap? Is it weird or perfectly fine? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. At number 5, Georgia Fowler. After a handful of other relationships and hookups, Harry Styles moved on to having a relatively short-lived relationship with New Zealand-based model Georgia Fowler back in 2015. Fans found out about their little fling when Georgia posted a video of the two of them playing Scrabble on her Snapchat.
No, that's where I need to go.
Though their time together was brief, fans have suspected that Harry's song Kiwi is about Georgia because Kiwi is a common nickname for people from New Zealand. This suspicion has never been confirmed, and when asked about the song, Georgia has expressed confusion as to why people have associated her with the song, as she said in an interview, quote, "Really don't know anything about it. Definitely don't have a baby. That's what the song is about." End quote. What do you guys think? Could the song be about her? At number 4, Kendall Jenner. This next relationship slash hookup is a little complicated because they were kind of on and off. Kendall Jenner and Harry Styles had a brief relationship back in 2013 when they were spotted having dinner together in LA in November of that year. The couple ended up splitting up a few months later in February 2014, but the following year in 2015, they sparked up their relationship once again after they were spotted spending New Year's together on a yacht. About a week after the couple was spotted together, fan suspicions were confirmed by Kendall's sister Chloe when she told Entertainment Weekly that Kendall and Harry were in fact dating, saying, quote, "Do I think they're dating? Yes. I don't know if they're like boyfriend-girlfriend. Nowadays, I don't know. People are weird with stuff. So I don't know their title." End quote. Not much was seen of the couple after that until they were spotted again a few months later in April 2016 when the pair were seen shopping together in LA. This, however, came about during a time when Kendall was also rumored to be dating Lakers player Jordan Clarkson. After that, things went dark again until October 2016 when they were spotted together one last time while having dinner. Fans thought that this might have been their next attempt at having a relationship, though nothing was ever confirmed. At number 3, Camille Rowe. One of Harry Styles' more recent relationships was with Victoria's Secret model Camille Rowe a couple years back from 2017 to 2018. Fans were quick to catch on to this relationship as some of the most invested fans noticed Harry's voice in the background of one of Camille's Instagram stories. This relationship seemed to be a little more serious than once in the past, as it was said that Harry introduced Camille to his family. They were also seen being cute out in public, as Harry was spotted carrying Camille's purse. Unfortunately though, Harry and Camille ended up breaking up after about a year together. Even though their relationship ended, they still seemed pretty close, as they were spotted by one of Harry's fans having lunch together in LA, giving the fan base a little hope that the couple would be getting back together. Unfortunately for the fans though, that never ended up happening. At number 2, Kiko Mizuhara. Now this next one is more rumor and speculation than anything else, but fans were convinced that Harry Styles had some kind of relationship with Kiko Mizuhara. In early 2019, a rumor started going around suggesting that Harry Styles was dating actress, model, and singer Kiko Mizuhara. When this rumor eventually circled back to Kiko, she tried to shut it down. Kiko took to Twitter to try and tell her fans that there was nothing going on between her and Harry when she said, quote, "It's been reported that Harry Styles and I have been in a relationship, but I have no relationship with him, and have never met him. The world is full of fake news. People believe what they want to believe rather than questioning reality." End quote. Despite this tweet, however, fans debunked Kiko's statement as her cover was blown about a month after making that tweet. Kiko was spotted at Harry's 25th birthday party in Tokyo, and there's even video evidence to back it all up. They weren't seen getting too close, but fans were still convinced that there was something going on between the two celebrities. And finally, at number 1, Olivia Wilde. This is Harry's current relationship, and it seems to be going pretty well so far. Rumors of their relationship started back in late 2020 as they got closer while working on Olivia's film Don't Worry Darling, after Harry got the part that Shia LaBeouf was fired from. The couple officially confirmed their relationship in early 2021, and those close to them have said that they are going strong. On the topic of their relationship, sources have said, quote, "They have gotten serious quickly and have an intense connection," end quote. Olivia and Harry have been spending a lot of time together. Olivia has been spotted at many of Harry's concerts, dancing and showing support for her man, and they've even been seen traveling together. Over the summer last year, Harry and Olivia were seen vacationing together in southern Italy, and it's also been reported that the couple is renting a house together. Things seem to be going quite well with them, so I hope things continue on a positive path for them.
First up, Rhianna. If you can believe it, Rhianna and Shia went on a date back in the early 2000s. Apparently, Rhianna was the one that contacted him and asked for the date. When Shia saw it, he said, quote, "I was filming a sword fight when I got the message. I said, can this be my life?" But their relationship did not turn into anything serious, and it fizzled out after the first date. He added, quote, "It never got beyond one date. The spark wasn't there, we weren't passionate about each other in that way, so we remain friends." Next up, Amber Tamblyn. Amber Tamblyn and Shia LaBeouf first got together back in 2005 and made their red carpet appearance at the movie premiere for Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants together. The pair never actually confirmed their relationships, but they were photographed getting cozy a number of times, so it was clear they were dating in some capacity. We're not sure when things ended, but a few months after they were spotted together, the pair were no longer seen out anymore, so it was clear the short relationship ended. Megan Fox. These two started dating after they starred alongside each other in the Transformers franchise, so we can assume they started dating sometime in 2007, which is about when the first movie was released. Although the pair were very tight-lipped in the relationship back when it was happening, they spoke about it years later. Megan Fox officially confirmed the relationship during an appearance on Watch What Happens Live back in 2018, saying, quote, "I mean, I would confirm that it was romantic. I love him. I've never really been quiet about that. I love him." LaBeouf also commented on their fling in 2011, saying, quote, "Look, you're on the set for 6 months with someone who's rooting to be attracted to you, and you're rooting to be attracted to them. I never understood the separation of work and life in that situation, but the time I spent with Megan was our own thing." We aren't sure why they broke up, but it was rumored that Shia had a fling with another one of his Transformers co-stars, so clearly the relationship he had with Megan was not serious. Carey Mulligan. These two presumably started dating after they acted alongside each other in the movie Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps together. The couple dated for about a year before they called it quits in 2010, and they were head over heels about each other, although they kept it on the down low in interviews with a limited PDA while out together. In March of 2010, Shia gushed about his relationship with Mulligan. He said, quote, "I never had anything in my life that was off limits, but with this, just out of respect, I just don't want to mess around." Adding, quote, "Neither one of us are fame whores, it works out." The pair broke up that October, and he spoke with Details magazine about the split. He said, quote, "I still love her. I think she's an
awesome person and an incredible actress. We're still pals. I wouldn't take any of it back, and I don't think she would either. It just ran its course." In a later interview, he revealed the issue between them two was their varying level of commitment. Mulligan wanted a marriage with kids, while Shia did not. Mulligan then went on to marry Marcus Mumford from the band Mumford & Sons. Carolyn Faux. Shia started dating Los Angeles-based stylist Carolyn Faux in 2010. The couple was pretty serious, and they dated for 2 years before splitting. They broke up after LeBeouf filmed the movie Nymphomaniac with co-star Mia Goth. This could mean there was some infidelity here, as Shia and Goth got together shortly after that. Full later revealed her tumultuous relationship with LeBeouf, adding that it got violent at some points. She told the New York Times that one time, quote, he drunkenly pinned her to a bed and headbutted her, enough that she bled. With the recent allegations against him, it shows that clearly these actions are a pattern of behavior. Mia Goth. Following his split with Faux, LeBeouf dated Nymphomaniac co-star Mia Goth, on and off for a few years. The pair actually got married in 2016 in Vegas, but later his team confirmed that it was not a real relationship, rather a commitment ceremony. However, that was clearly not true, because they filed for divorce in September of 2018. After their split, a source close to Goth revealed, quote, "It was a very crazy relationship and he is very fiery. She's told her friends that she can't take it anymore. When he was preparing for a part, Mia would keep away from him and move out because his rehearsals were so intense." But the story with these two is not over, and it was rumored that they were back together in 2020 as they were seen out together on a number of occasions. But they were off once again in 2020 when LeBeouf started dating actress Margaret Qualley. However, that relationship was short-lived, and after another one of LeBeouf's ex-girlfriends, FK Twigs, accused him of harmful conduct. I will get into both of these ladies in a moment, but rumors are swirling that Mia Goth and Shia might now be engaged, now that Goth is expecting a child. We assume that child is Shia's, as they have been spotted out together while she's been pregnant, although neither party has confirmed if they are officially back together. Talia Barnett / FKA Twigs. Talia Barnett, whose stage name is FKA Twigs, began dating LeBeouf after his split from Goth in 2018. They met on the set of Honey Boy, but the pair did not become official until after the movie was finished. The couple was together for less than a year, and the world was shocked when Barnett filed a lawsuit against LeBeouf after their split, citing physical and emotional distress because of his actions. The suit includes many strange and disturbing claims. Barnett has accused LeBeouf of harmful sexual conduct, along with knowingly giving her an STD. Barnett said about the relationship, quote, "What I went through with Shia was the worst thing I've ever been through in my whole life. I don't think people would ever think it would happen to me, but I think that's the thing. It can happen to anybody." LeBeouf commented on the lawsuit, saying, quote, "I'm not in any position to tell anyone how my behavior made them feel. I have no excuses for my alcoholism or aggression, only rationalizations. I've been harmful to myself and everyone around me for years." Adding, quote, "I have a history of hurting the people closest to me. I'm ashamed of that history and I'm sorry to those I hurt. There's nothing else I can really say." In February of 2021, FK Twigs told Elle that it's, quote, "a miracle that I came out alive." She then spoke of some more incidents with LeBeouf. Once the pair were driving together and he started speeding and driving erratically. At the time, Barnett was preparing for a fatal crash, but thankfully that did not happen. She said that luck was the reason she survived their relationship. As of now, the pair are trying to work out their legal matter out of court, but she's preparing to take him to court if their mediations aren't successful. Margaret Qualley. In September of 2021, Margaret Qualley and LeBeouf's brief relationship ended after the allegations from FK Twigs came out. The pair were first linked after they filmed Love Me Like You Hate Me together in the early fall. A source said at the time, quote, "They are not dating, but have fun together. Margaret is a social butterfly and has a big group of friends. She doesn't really bring Shia around this group though. She's not interested in having a boyfriend." They were spotted out holding hands on many occasions, but the relationship quickly ended after news broke of the lawsuit. One source told People that Qualley was aware of the backlash she received for seeing LeBeouf amid the lawsuit, and she didn't want to deal with it anymore. The source added that Margaret is now focusing on her work. Shia revealed her hookup with Shia LaBeouf after FK Twigs filed her lawsuit against him. In the midst of the drama, Shia went to share with the public her negative experiences with the actor. Shia revealed that her and LaBeouf actually dated the same time he dated FK Twigs, and he encouraged the adultery. LaBeouf and Shia first met when he appeared in the 2015 music video for Shia's track Elastic Heart alongside dancer Maddie Ziegler. Following the lawsuit, Shia tweeted, quote, "I too have been hurt emotionally by Shia, a pathological liar, who conned me into an adulterous relationship claiming to be single. I believe he's very sick and have compassion for him and his victims. Just know if you love yourself, stay safe, stay away." In a second tweet, Shia added, quote, "Also, I love you FK Twigs. This is very courageous and I'm very proud of you." Shia later told the Sunday Times, quote, "It turns out he was using the same lines on me and Twigsy, and eventually we found out because we ended up talking to one another. Both of us thought we were singly dating him, but that wasn't the case and he was still married."
At number 10, Bridget Hall. As you will come to see, Leonardo DiCaprio has hooked up with a lot of celebrities over the years. This isn't even a complete list. He's known for being with models and a few actresses as well, so let's kick things off with Leo's fling with supermodel Bridget Hall. The London Sun reported several sightings of Leo and Bridget together back in 1994 in New York City. According to the supermodel, she and Leo were just friends, but rumors surrounding the pair say otherwise. According to others, Bridget and Leo had been hooking up, but apparently she wasn't happy about it. One source claimed that Bridget once said, quote, "He was lousy in bed, the sex was bad," end quote. According to the source, because it was so bad, she ended up dumping the actor because he was, quote, "disappointing." Having that rumor out there in the public must have sucked for Leo. We don't know if this is actually factual or not, since no one's actually confirmed that statement, but at least we know that this quote didn't hurt Leo's chances with the ladies, because he still had a lot of luck judging by how many people are on this list. At number 9, Naomi Campbell. Another famous supermodel that Leonardo DiCaprio allegedly hooked up with is none other than Naomi Campbell. We know that Leo and Naomi are pretty close friends, but back in the 90s there was a rumor that the two of them had been hooking up on occasion. In 1995 it was reported that Leo and Naomi were a bit of a thing, but they ultimately decided in the end to keep things platonic. But that doesn't mean that they haven't spent any private time together since then. Since deciding to keep their friendship status as just friends, they've gone on vacations together with a group of their friends, they've hosted and attended each other's events, and there was even a funny moment when Leo photobombed Naomi's selfie with 50 Cent. You should know better than to photobomb a supermodel, Leo. Tisk tisk. Before we carry on talking about people who've been with Leonardo DiCaprio, why not take a moment to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like this one. At number 8, Kristen Zang. With so many celebrity relationships, we know that they can't always work out. Here's a relationship that didn't exactly pan out for Leonardo DiCaprio. Back in the 90s, Leonardo DiCaprio got into a relationship with model and actress Kristen Zang. The couple started off pretty strong and dated for about 15 months between 1996 and 1997. This all occurred before he shot to fame after starring in Titanic. During their relationship, Leo even brought Kristen along as his date to his film Romeo and Juliet. Side note, that is an incredible film. Anyways, like all good things, this relationship had to come to an end, and the reason why it ended might surprise you. In an article published by the Daily News, it was reported that Kristen and Leo broke up because of the actor's immaturity. Kristen said that he and his friends needed to, quote, "grow up," end quote. Now, I'm not sure if there was any specific catalyst for saying that Leo was immature, like how he acted or something, but clearly this was perhaps a case of right person, wrong time. At number 7, Helena Christensen. From doing my research for this list, I've come to learn that Leonardo DiCaprio is quite the party goer, or at least he definitely was when he was younger at the height of his career. He was known to go to parties and fraternize with various supermodels, and this is sort of how former Victoria's Secret model Helena Christensen came into the actor's life. Apparently, the Danish model was the first woman who partied with Leo when he shot to fame after the release of Titanic in 1997. According to sources, Leo and Helena had hooked up a couple times, but their relationship didn't really go anywhere past the bedroom. As fun as it may have been to be with this up-and-coming actor, Helena didn't do anything else with Leo and later got into a relationship with The Walking Dead star Norman Reedus, whom she was with for 5 years or so. At number 6, Gisele Bündchen. Other than short-lived relationships and little hookups here and there, Leo has had some on and off again relationships. One of these rather unstable relationships happened with supermodel Gisele Bündchen. This couple was on and off between 1999 and 2005, but obviously they called it quits after that. In an interview Gisele did with Vanity Fair in 2009, the supermodel opened up about her relationship with Leonardo, where she opened up about her feelings on the situation and how she felt about the actor, where she said, quote, "We know what we had. We were very young and we grew together in a lot of ways. We were not meant to be boyfriend and girlfriend, but I respect him enormously and wish him nothing but the best." End quote. Gisele later went on to marry NFL player Tom Brady, but she does have one special thing with Leonardo, and that is the title of the only woman the actor has taken to an award show besides his mother or his BFF Kate Winslet. At number 5, Bar Raffaelli. Following his relationship with Gisele Bündchen, Leonardo DiCaprio got into another relationship with a supermodel, surprise surprise. This time he started loving up on Victoria's Secret model Bar Raffaelli. The couple dated for quite a while, with their relationship spanning from 2005 to 2011. 2011. They did take a 6-month break back in 2009, but apparently it did them some good having time away from each other. After the couple got back together following this 6-month break, Barr talked about the experience in an interview. She told sources that she was very grateful for the time that they took apart, saying that she took the time to grow up and work on herself. That's actually a really positive thing to do, and I feel like that's a good way of working on a relationship, by working on yourself. Either way, for them, things didn't work out in the end as they broke up in 2011, and Barr went on to marry Israeli businessman Adi Ezra in 2015. At number 4, Blake Lively. Before Blake Lively married the legendary Ryan Reynolds, she was involved in a bit of a flingy-wingy with Leonardo DiCaprio. There really wasn't much tea to this hookup, other than two adults just enjoying each other's company, but it was still noteworthy, so let me tell you guys about it. Back in 2011, Blake and Leo started making minor headlines after paparazzi caught the two actors getting cozy during the Cannes Film Festival back in 2011. Blake was hooking up with Leo, and sources caught some glimpses into their PDA-filled summer as they traveled together. They were seen canoodling in Italy, New York City, and LA as well, and as you can imagine, the paparazzi ate that up. They were so close back then that Blake even spent her birthday with Leo in Australia while he was filming The Great Gatsby. This whirlwind romance came to an end in October of that year though, with sources citing that the two of them decided to just remain friends. At number 3, Erin Heatherton. Leonardo DiCaprio isn't one to stay single for long, it seems, after seeing a bit of a pattern form throughout this list. Just after his little breakup with Blake Lively, Leo found himself a new partner, this time being with former Victoria's Secret supermodel Erin Heatherton. The two of them did a fair bit of traveling together, first being spotted touring the Vaucluse house in Sydney, Australia in December 2011. The couple was also spotted vacationing together in Mexico as well as Hawaii and Los Angeles. Leo and Erin were also seen spending time together in New York City as paparazzi spotted them riding bikes together in the city. They were going strong for about a year or so, but they ended up splitting up in 2012. Reports say that the couple called it quits because of Leo's schedule, as he was pretty preoccupied with filming for The Wolf of Wall Street. At number 2, Kelly Rohrbach. Next up in the history of Leonardo DiCaprio's flings, we have his relationship with Sports Illustrated model Kelly Rohrbach. Leo and Kelly got together in April of 2015, and a lot of people thought that things were getting pretty serious between the two of them. Throughout their time together, they spent time in New York City, the Hamptons, Saint-Tropez, and were even seen attending the US Open together in October of that year. As I mentioned, people thought that things were getting serious because it was rumored that Leo had proposed to Kelly, but that rumor turned out to be untrue. The couple split up in 2016, but many people think that both parties were pretty okay after the split because they moved on to bigger things, like Kelly being cast in the new Baywatch movie the same week that it was announced that they had broken up. And finally, at number 1, Rhianna. Probably one of the juiciest hookups that Leonardo DiCaprio has had was when he was reportedly getting cozy with Rhianna. Leo and Rhianna were first seen getting close to one another at Coachella in 2015, but this first public look at the two of them cuddling up to each other wasn't the first time it's actually happened. Rumor has it that Leo and Rhianna had actually started hooking up long before that. It was also said that Leo helped to plan the singer's birthday that year when she turned 27. They weren't seen together in public too much, probably to keep their relationship, or whatever they wanted to call it, a secret, but when they were seen out in public again at a club in Paris just after Riri's birthday, they claimed that they were just friends. These celebrity hookups are just one of those Hollywood secrets that are hard to decipher because they're kept so hush-hush. All we have to go off of is whispers and speculation, but hey, that's good enough for a lot of people.